Hello, and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we'll meet a trio of sisters who turned childhood poverty into multiple successful businesses. We'll also learn how one Jersey Shore family is making sure those with disabilities enjoy summertime fun. But first, the Discovery Orchestra is a summit-based organization whose mission is to teach audiences the listening skills they need to truly appreciate classical music. Its founder and artistic director, George Mariner Mall, joins us now. George, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Lisa Marie, thank you so much for asking me to be your guest today.
What inspired you to discover the Discovery Orchestra?
I think that I've always been, through much of my life, fascinated by the subject of music listening and curious about why some people listen really carefully to music and other people perhaps just hear it while they do other things, while they have dinner or they go shopping or whatever in the background. So that was the sort of key impetus to make me think about what can we do to help people listen more carefully rather than just hear music. And that all came into play when we created the Discovery Orchestra.
How do you help people connect with classical music?
The biggest problem for most people is they don't really even know that they're not listening. And that may sound surprising, but if you think about the way our society has trained us, in the background in our world, there is electronically reproduced music everywhere you go. At the supermarket, at the doctor's office, on hold, on the phone, everywhere we can find ourselves, there is often electronically reproduced music in the background. And that has trained generations of people to ignore music as sonic wallpaper. Now, the problem is you have a composer like Camille Saint-Saëns, the one we're featuring in this show. He had the audacity to expect us to listen carefully to every single sound that he wrote, one after the other, and in order to get the most out of the experience. So basically, we employ, I would say, problem-solving skills to help our audiences learn to do this better. And the main way we do that is in our concerts. We will ask the audience perhaps to raise their hands when the trombones come in next, and then we'll play some music. And one of two things might happen at that point. Either the trombones will come in and the audience will notice and they'll all stick their hands up in the air, or sometimes on purpose, we may play some music where the trombones don't even appear anywhere. And so then everyone's looking around like, what's wrong? We didn't hear the trombones. And that gives me a chance to discuss the difference between listening and hearing. I'll tell them, we did that just to make sure you were really paying attention.
What is your background with music?
Yeah, I grew up in a musical family. My mother was a wonderful pianist, a classically trained pianist. And then she sent my brother and me to a choir school for boys when we were in grade school. And there we got very, very intense musical training at this particular choir school and sang a lot in public. After that, I went to a public high school. I took up a stringed instrument eventually. I took up the viola and then went to music school and got 2 degrees. I began playing professionally in symphony orchestras and then decided that I wanted to conduct them. And that began to happen actually many years ago, probably 45 or 50 years ago, I began conducting.
Well, I love your background when you have the grand piano, you have an extensive music wall. I mean, it's in your blood and it's something you're thinking about and doing, even in your sleep, I'm sure.
Pretty much 24/7.
You are filming this concert and airing it on public television nationally next year. Very exciting stuff. Tell us all about it.
We were very excited about the idea of doing another program for American Public Television. And we decided that we would pick a piece of music that was incredibly uplifting. I think that going through the COVID epidemic, which, we don't even know if we're completely finished with it yet, hopefully we will be soon. But in addition, it's a rather tense time. People are feeling on edge a bit. And we thought that if we could take a piece of music that was really uplifting, it would be great for our audiences to be able to enjoy this. Not only the ones who come to the taping, but the people all over the country who will get to watch this on television.
Obviously, the cost of television isn't cheap, and neither is putting on performances like you do. Where do you get your funds?
The funding for what we do mostly comes, believe it or not, from individuals, either individuals who are interested in what we're doing, or if they have a foundation, if they have a family foundation, it may come from that. We also receive money from the New Jersey State Arts Council, which is, of course, a co-partner of the National Endowment for the Arts. And we also receive a little bit of income from some local businesses. It's very interesting. We have a radio show on the public radio station, the classical station in Princeton, New Jersey, WWFM. And we broadcast twice a month on that station. And a local firm here in where I live, in Bedminster, actually, a local investment firm, is one of the sponsors, plus a gentleman who wanted his wife, who passed sadly a couple of years ago, to be remembered. And so he is one of the sponsors of our radio show. It's called Inside Music, second and fourth Saturdays of every month on WWFM. And it can be seen anywhere in the world on their website, wwfm.org, not just on the 89.1 FM signal.
Well, George, this was so fun. Thank you for making classical music so fun for the masses.
Well, we want people to be as moved as they could possibly be, from the top of their head to their tippy toes, maybe even get goosebumps and maybe even shed a tear because they find this music to be so emotionally engrossing.
George, where can people find out more about you and Discovery Orchestra?
If they visit our website, www.discoveryorchestra.org online, they will find out all sorts of things. There are many different things that you can investigate there about music listening itself, but also people who want to come and attend this television taping can do so. We have a limited number of seats, but there is no admission. You just have to push the link that is on our website that will help you catch up to where you need to go. And you can register and reserve a seat for yourself and other people in your family, if you'd like. And again, that's at www.discoveryorchestra.org.
Thank you, George, for bringing such sweet music to the program.
Thank you.
The Ascendamere sisters, Fisoon, Gunja, and Arzu, turned a childhood of poverty into multiple successful businesses within the local food scene. They join us now to share their story of inspiration. Thank you for coming on, ladies.
It's a pleasure to be here, Lisa.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, I am so excited to finally meet you because I've been following your careers for a while. But let's start from the beginning. Tell us about your humble upbringing.
So our father came to this country in 1975. He gave up a professional soccer career in Turkey. He came to America because he wanted a better education and he wanted to learn English. And he put himself through school. He was sending money back to Turkey to my mom, who was still there, and she was pregnant with my big sister, Fisoon. He left and he didn't know that she was pregnant at the time. So he put himself through school. He owned multiple businesses, started restaurants, and he did end up going bankrupt. So he lost everything that he had built up. So we did grow up in poverty. But he was an entrepreneur. So he kind of passed that down to us, and he's always kind of worked for himself. When he came to this country, he was working 4 jobs at once at some point and putting himself through school to learn English. And he used to chew on espresso beans to stay awake. And that's basically it. We've been working. Fisoon used to work in his restaurants as a 12-year-old growing up. So we grew up in the restaurant industry pretty much, and watching our parents work hard to build their own businesses.
The restaurant industry, as you three certainly know, it's not for the faint of heart. And you saw your father kind of go on that roller coaster ride, but Obviously, it didn't scare you because look at what you're doing today. But how did you discover your love of food services?
Well, we've always kind of loved food. That's been our mutual bonding experience. You know, we grew up in kind of a strict and conservative traditional household, so we didn't do the same things as our peers did growing up. You know, we didn't go to parties and do those things. So the one thing that we did do was eat. You know, go up and down New Jersey, finding new restaurants to eat at. And our parents are both actually extraordinarily good cooks. My mom just, I don't know how she makes some of the stuff she makes, but even my father, he's always been a tremendously good cook. And I don't know, it's just food just makes sense for us. You know, we love it. We're passionate about it, as you can tell. We do eat. We're very well fed. And it's just we worked plenty of service jobs. You know, I worked a ton of service jobs to put myself through college. Arzu worked in service as well. And then Feast and ran my father's restaurant. So it's just, yes, restaurants are brutal, but it's the food aspect and the family aspect that kind of drew us in and kept us there.
So, how did you take your passion and set it into motion and open your first flatbread grill in Montclair?
You want to answer?
Do you want to answer that?
Well,
since-
I used to work in the electronic manufacturing industry, and at some point I was taking a lot of my own vacation days to take my dad to the hospital. My mom, their health just completely started falling apart altogether. And at some point I was out of work using my vacation days. Even then, though, the company I worked for had a little bit of a problem with me taking off so much. And at that point, I had no choice. So I was let go of my position. And I went through such a depressing point in my life. And I said to my sister, I said, we need to be able to provide health insurance for them. And I don't know what to do. I can't add them as dependents on my insurance policy because they're not a spouse or child. And I said, well, what do we do really well that we can try to provide that service to the public and make money to pay for the health insurance? And there was only one answer to that, and that was definitely food. No matter how tough things were growing up, I remember my mom would give me the circular and I would just cut out things and make a list of what we're going to make on a budget. And food would just brought us together. And we wanted to share that with the public.
Yeah.
So, Flatbread Grill, you first opened in Montclair, then expanded to Jersey City and Hoboken. What does the menu feature?
So the basis of our menu is actually centered on our flatbreads that we baked fresh every morning. We had 8 different types of flatbreads initially, and we would pair that with all of our different grilled items. We had soups, salads, a pretty diverse menu. We had sandwiches, and you know, we had such a diverse customer base, and there was really truly something for everyone to love on the menu.
It was really one of the early ideas at Arzu and Feastoon had was they wanted to take traditional Turkish cuisine and make it a little bit more accessible to people, because back then nobody was doing that. Middle Eastern food was kind of still just street food. So they wanted to take it and make it, you know, quick, fast, casual, but still retain the high quality scratch cooking aspects that Turkish people are very adamant about, you know, retaining. So that's kind of what we did. So we were one of the first people to do it, and it was very much a make everything to order concept, which now that I think about it was probably something that contributed to the difficulties we endured in the kitchen. But that was very important to us, is making good food every single day, no matter what, and serving it to people in a warm, inviting, casual environment.
No industry was hit harder than I think the restaurant industry during the COVID-19 pandemic. And I know that it forced the three of you to look inward and kind of pivot into something else, Thumb Bread. Talk to us about that.
So Thumb Bread was something that we talked about bringing to people on a large scale for years. I mean, we must have been talking about it for a decade and plus years. And it was, something that we saw people react to in the restaurants. And when the pandemic hit, we had already tested it in local King's Balducci stores, but we were still hand making it. So it wasn't feasible to do it at a larger scale than what we were doing it. So during the pandemic, we started our business during a recession. So we kind of already understood how those economic conditions work, how difficult it is to survive. You tend to only work just to pay your rent, and you go into survival mode. And we had already been in survival mode, and we felt that maybe it was time to go all in on something else. And the restaurant industry was inevitably going to change. And again, we saw so many of those changes coming forward. We were always thinking 10 steps ahead. So we decided, we could try to survive here, or we could kind of, turn our concept, the restaurant concept, to something else, which makes more sense, which is, operate from different virtual kitchens and let other people operate it. And we could focus on the bread. And that's what we did. We went into R&D for about a year because we had to find a way to be able to produce it quickly at a larger scale. So we invested the time and resources into that. And again, it was either we're going to invest the resources into trying to survive in the restaurant industry, or we're going to, do this new venture. And at first it was scary, maybe because people were critical of it. They thought, we worked so hard with the Flatbread Grill brand that we were diminishing it in a way. But I think that it only made the brand stronger, because it actually made more people aware of Flatbread Grill and our story. They paid a lot more attention because the bread is now, it's out there in the world, and it's kind of spreading like wildfire. So
Yes.
I know we live in like an immediate gratification society now. Everything is at our fingertips. You can get delivery in like 5 minutes. But we've been doing this now a decade and plus years. So this is a dream we talked about, in 2008.
Oh, don't say the year. It makes me feel old.
So now it's 2000. I know, it's just crazy like how time flies, but we were like babies, which I have videos of Arzu just like making the bread by hand. Like, oh, wouldn't this be so cool if someday we were like, we actually used to talk about ShopRite a lot, because we're Jersey born and bred, and ShopRite is, the retailer in the Northeast for us. But yeah, consistency and hard work, showing up, and it's not easy. We deal with the same amount of challenges that everybody else deals with: cash flow,
No sleep.
no sleep, inventory issues, supply chain shortages, all that stuff. We deal with it. But the determining factor is that we deal with it. We show up and we do it every day, day in, day out, no matter what. So you'll be surprised at how far just your own determination can take to say, this is what I'm going to do, and then to go out and do it.
The beauty of business ownership, right? Thank you so much for coming on here today. I'm sure that so many people now watching are going to rush to their nearest ShopRite, pick up a loaf of thumb bread, and I highly recommend it because I've had it and it's excellent. So
Thank you so much.
thank you for sharing your passion and love and knowledge of food with the masses. Where can people find out more about you?
So you can go to thumbread.com if you're interested in knowing where to buy the bread. We are growing and we do update our store locator. And then social media, we're Ascendamere Sisters and Thumbread. So yeah, we try to be as active as possible on social, considering our work schedule, but we're out there on the internet in the digital world. So come say hello.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful day.
You too.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Heart of Surfing believes that everyone deserves to have the best time at the Jersey Shore. Here to tell us more about their mission is its co-founders, Cindy and Bob Furch. Cindy, Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hello.
We're happy to be here.
Hi there.
I think it's such an amazing nonprofit that you put together, and it was inspired by your son, Jamie. Tell us all about Jamie.
Jamie was quite a boy. He loved movement. He loved roller coasters. He loved trampolines. He loved swings. And most of all, he loved the ocean, just the motion of the water. Jamie was diagnosed with autism at 3.5. So we recognized that he loved that sensory input. And when we would take him to the beach, I would often push him on my surfboard, and he would take a wave in and have the greatest time.
Yeah, Jamie unfortunately passed in 2020, and but we did start the organization Heart of Surfing in his honor, and we continue it for his legacy.
I'm so sorry for your loss of Jamie. I just think it's a
Thank
beautiful,
you.
I just think it's so beautiful though that you are carrying on his legacy through helping children like himself through surfing and ice skating and all of these activities. So tell us what you do.
We offer surfing sessions to families with autism and developmental disabilities, and it really is our honor and privilege. We love seeing their smiles and getting to know so many different families and kids with special needs. We get a lot of joy from their joy. So every Saturday in the summer, June through September, we take kids surfing on various beaches in Atlantic County and Cape May County. We offer free surfing sessions for families with autism or other developmental disabilities like Down syndrome or something else, or combinations. And we take upwards of 100 kids surfing every Saturday.
It's all free. It's easy. It's easy for the kids, easy for the families. So we recognize that it's hard. So it's something I know the kids look forward to, the families look forward to, and it's a great way for them to get together and talk too.
I'm sure you have a lot of volunteers helping out, considering you, like you said, you have 100 kids coming out. That's a lot.
Yeah, we started off with just like our group of friends and people in the community that volunteered. And as the organization grew, we recognized we really needed more help. So we partner with the beach patrols in various beach towns throughout Cape May County and Atlantic County. We felt like it was too much to ask any one beach patrol to help us every Saturday, but we do ask for their help and support one day each summer. So we're in a different location each Saturday.
And the lifeguards have been amazing, as well as our dedicated volunteers that help every single week. And they get as much pleasure as the kids. It's a lot of joy that just goes all around.
Mm-hmm.
How has this program changed the children's lives that participate?
We feel like it's brought them, joy, an opportunity to try something that they may not have otherwise tried or been able to experience. Some of them have really gained a lot of surfing skills. We have one boy who went on to be on the Ocean City High School surf team, which we were really excited about. And it's just something that they look forward to every summer, to experiencing the waves and getting together with their friends. So it's a nice opportunity for them.
Yeah, I mean, you should see when the kids stand up, or even if they come in on their bellies, all the applause they get from the parents, great photos, videos, and their other surfers get excited. So it's nice to see something that maybe they were afraid to do the first time, how they get more and more familiar with it, and they build their confidence to try something new.
During the non-summer months, what do you do to keep the foundation going?
We do skateboarding and scootering. So we go to a skate park 4 times in the fall and 4 times in the spring, and we hold what we call skateboarding clinics, where we help the kids to ride on a skateboard, or if they feel that they need to hold something, we offer razor scooters as well. Some of the kids move from razor scooters to skateboarding. Some need to stay with razor scooters, and that's okay. We kind of both with the skateboarding and the surfing, we meet the participants where they are, and we try to encourage them and booster their confidence and their skills as much as we can. But it's a great variance in the levels of abilities.
And it's just about having fun.
Yeah.
It's not like some other sports where you get out or you have strikeouts,
Mhm.
you have a score or you don't have a score. It's very individualized, these sports, and it allows us to meet the child where they are, and the success is all in their smiles.
Well, congratulations on such a beautiful, fruitful effort, and what a legacy for your son, Jamie. Where can people
Thank you.
learn? Where can people learn more about you and how to support?
Thank you so much. Heartofsurfing.org, or they can follow us on Facebook, Heart of Surfing, or Instagram, Heart of Surfing.
We will definitely check that out. Bill, Cindy, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you for watching Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.